Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So I am not home. Obviously I'm not home. I'm at the Biltmore in LA, and we're hoping that the Wi-Fi holds out for us. But I'm at RomanticyCon, so we'll see. It's been interesting. So, but this is our 1 minute book recs. This is where we go over all the books with 1 minute synopsises for each book. And because I'm at the Biltmore and the internet has been interesting, poor Mandy has to do all the jobs and switch us over and set the timer. And this could be a disaster, but we're gonna have fun with this. So let's do it.
Try.
We're gonna give it a try. So before we get started, though, I'm sure there's some housekeeping, right?
Well, we would love for you to hit that subscribe button and like and hype our videos. All of that means a lot to us. And at the end, we are going to announce our winner for the Coveted cover giveaway. And we're also going to announce our next giveaway because we are doing 26 books in 2026. And we need to pick up the pace or we're going to end up with like a lot of giveaways in December. And we want to spread them out.
Yes.
So, Queen Jessica, how many books did you read this week?
I read 8
this month.
I did get 8 in, even though this was a travel week, and it was a crazy week, but it was also a packing week. So the first 3 days of the week really helped me get a bunch of books done. But yeah, and the drive to Seattle helps too. So yeah. I did 8. How did you do?
I did 12. I had a wild reading week, which we'll talk about.
Okay, well, let's do it. So that means you get to start.
Okay, this is going to get complicated because I have to start the timer, switch myself, look at my notes, hold on my book. If this is your first time here, we usually are a very well-oiled machine.
Not today, though. Not today.
Not today.
No.
So please enjoy the book recs and check back on our other videos.
Yeah, because
please. Okay, I'm going to switch myself over.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, what you guys didn't see was this little discussion between the two of us. We probably clipped this right here. But what we're going to do is stay on with the two of us because it's a lot for Mandy to be able to do all the things without my help. And so we're both going to stay on for this 1 minute book rec. So yay. You get to look at us, look at our notes. See us, watch us, look at our... I can't talk.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
Okay, let's do it.
So, my first book is Protect by Paisley Hope. This is the second book in the Sky Ridge Hot Shot series. So, we did do Fight as our February book club read, and I wanted to continue on with the series, so that is what I'm doing. So, in this, we have Violet and King. King is also known as Rowan. In the first book, we see Jake die. Jake is Violet's, well, we don't really see it. It's mentioned, I should say. It's Violet's twin brother, right?
I think so.
And so she is not interested in being with a hotshot based on this. She is getting a divorce. She has a young girl and she has moved back home and is working at the hospital there. She's a nurse when King is brought in because he is burned from a fire he was on. She ends up being the nurse that takes care of him during part of his stay. And they kind of I'm done. They start to reconnect, and he has always had like a crush on her and kind of wanted to explore things, but they have a past that we see flashbacks of why she wants kind of nothing to do with him. But he's actually a pretty good guy, and he does a lot for her and her daughter that the dad doesn't want to do. Which I really appreciated the moments he had with the little girl and that sort of thing. But I also really liked when they decide to finally do it, she kind of freaks out and she's like, that is way too big. That is not going to fit. And I really appreciated that in books because sometimes every book, the guy is well packing.
Like every
single book. And there's very little mention to how sometimes that's not always ideal. So I appreciated a realistic approach to that in here.
Yeah. Okay. What did you rate it? Did you say what you rated it?
I didn't say. Okay. I rated it 4 stars.
All right. Okay, so the first book that I read this week, I actually listened to because it was a packing week, and I was really excited because even though I read this book last year as an ARC, audio came out, and Tor Tom was one of the narrators, and so I was like, I have got to listen to this book. But then there's also the thing where sometimes I hear Tor my friend and not Tor the narrator talking, where it's the guy. But this one totally worked for me, and I was so proud of Tor. Anyhow, so this one is Beautiful Torment by A. Zavarelli. So yes, this one is out. Book 2, they're working on the audio right now. But this is about Abella and Angelo. This is Mafia. Abella was engaged to Angelo as an arranged marriage situation, but they did love each other when they were younger. And then something happened, and he took the fall and went to prison, and has been in jail for the last 6 years. When that happened, her engagement basically switched to his brother. And so now she's been engaged to his brother for 6 years. And little does she know that Angelo is, he might not be in prison anymore. And she might show up to her wedding day and expect one groom and not have the one groom that she wants. So this is a revenge type situation. He does take her and force her to marry him. So there's a forced marriage situation. There's some breeding going on. It is the best. I mean, the audio was amazing. I gave the book 5 stars. I gave the book 5 stars when I first read it. It's still 5 stars. The audio, I think, honestly, would have amplified it if it hadn't been 5 stars because the audio was amazing. So go listen to it. It's out now.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to say, Stephanie K is the female narrator. So it's not just Tor that did the whole book. It's a lot of Stephanie. So congratulations to both. It was amazing.
Okay, well, next I listened to Shamrock Kisses by Serena Pierre, and I'm going to talk more about this book at the end, so stick around. In this book, we have Patrick and Rachel. So these all play off of the High Five dive bar that has been kind of made into like a cool bar, and that is our setting, or at least the catalyst for the whole series. And I just told, oh, and they each center around a holiday. So his name is Patrick. There are St. Patrick's Day themes in here. I think when you read novellas like this, you enjoy them for that and you don't get annoyed with those sorts of things. So this, I really loved it. So we have Patrick, he's kind of a little bit of a computer tech nerdy type, is how he's described. Rachel is very interested in him. He's like exactly her type, but he feels like he's, the nerdy guy. He's not going to get the girl type situation. And so he's a little bit reserved in trying to make a move or ask her out or anything like that. And they end up at a St. Patrick's Day party together at the bar. And from there, things go really quick because it is a quick novella. I love these books. They're a lot of fun for, the themes of the holidays. So this is a perfect read during the month of March. And this is narrated by Grayson Owens and Savannah Thomas, and they both did a great job. So I rated it 5 stars because I love these.
Have you read all of them now?
I thought I had, but I think that there might be a Halloween one that I did not read.
Oh, I didn't read a Halloween one.
Yeah, I think there is one.
I know I have the 4th of July one for sure to read, but I didn't realize there was a Halloween one.
Yes.
Well, okay. All right. Okay. Are you ready for my next book?
I'm ready.
It was another audiobook. It released on Tuesday, and I was really excited. This was on my TBR. This is obviously a reread, but I've been waiting for these since the author announced they were coming out. So this is Twisted by Dee Dee Prince. This is the second book in her Savage Alpha Shifters, and oh my gosh, I forgot how much I loved these books. So this is narrated by CJ Gray and Heather Firth. They did a phenomenal job, as Mandy would say. But since this is the second book in the series, I do suggest you read the first book because there is an overarching theme that is happening through all these books. And you're going to want to be clued into that. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on that. So this is about Amelia and Mason. So Mason is our shifter. Amelia is the sister to the heroine from our first book. And when the heroine calls and basically says after a week she's found her one true love and she is never coming home, Amelia is like, this is ridiculous. I need to go find my sister, because they're in this little tiny town that's got some magic and stuff around it. So when Amelia gets to the town, what we find out from the previous book at the beginning of this book is Mason, who was very confused when he first saw Amelia's sister, because he thought that could possibly be his mate, but knowing that it's not his mate and he couldn't figure out why. The minute Amelia calls his shop to try to figure out where the guy is that is his that is her new brother-in-law who supposedly kidnapped her sister or has her sister. Mason hears her voice and clarity starts to click, and then he realizes that that is his mate. So he literally pulls up in the middle of town, grabs her, and takes her back to his little mansion in the woods. And so good. There's so much more. These books are thick because there is a lot of plot to them, but oh my god, it's so good. I gave it 5 stars. The book itself was 5 stars. The audio is 5 stars. It was fantabulous. So now 2 are out. I'm expecting the 3rd audio here in another month or 2. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
I forgot to mention I have a fat lip, so if you can tell, I apologize.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see it. How did that happen? Did Jay bite it too hard? No.
So donkeys are supposed to be on dry paddocks, but I let them out into the pasture sometimes. And there's like certain times where it's okay. And I like nobody wants the lesson on donkeys, but I was putting them back on their side. And Archie wasn't quite into me shutting the gate. And he's not aggressive at all, but he's a donkey. And we have to have special ways that we lock our gates because I have a goat bolt that can unlock gates. So we have the chain that wraps around and hooks. And so I was wrapping it to hook it. And so I'm bent down a little bit, and Archie decided to push on the gate at the same time. So the metal gate like hit me right in the lip.
Mouth.
Yeah.
So are you sure it's a hobby farm and not the funny farm?
Ha ha ha.
Okay, when you talk about your next book, I'm going to jump up and grab a pillow because this chair sucks. So,
okay.
Yeah.
There's something in my next book you're going to want to hear about, though. So.
Oh, I'll hear you, but I'll be right there. I got to get that.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So my next book is called Accidentally Marrying the Prisoner by May Alder.
Yes,
so this is about what?
Said yes, I want to hear this.
Okay, so this is about Maribeth and Conrad. So first off, I want to say that when you read this book, you just have to kind of suspend belief and go with it because it's really good. So Maribeth's mom works at the prison as a nurse, and they have a program that Maribeth thinks she's going to participate in a dance with the prisoners to help them like feel less lonely and start to get ready to like go back out into society. So she shows up. And she's concerned that a lot of people are wearing white and things like that, but she doesn't think anything of it. She goes, starts to sign all the paperwork, assuming that all the paperwork is like a liability type waiver. And she thinks that's kind of weird, but she's a little nervous, so she signs it. And then this big burly guy comes out and signs some papers. And she's told that this is now her husband and she has to take him home. And he has to live with her for 3 years while he's like on an early release program through this marriage program. Again, her mom told her to like signed her up for this dance. So from there, she's now stuck with Conrad, but Conrad's not bad looking. So we have basically kind of an arranged marriage situation, which you'll find out more about as you read it. And then we also end up with some breeding because it's May Alder. But Jessica, the part that you're going to like is there's quite a few references to the Benson boys.
Trucking guys?
Yes, and the diner. And they talk about them being a little like wackadoodle with their women.
Because they are, but that's why we love them.
I really enjoyed this. I rated it 4 stars. Like, is it realistic that you're going to get tricked into marrying a prisoner thinking you're going to a dance? No.
But am I going to read it?
Suspend some beliefs to enjoy a really well-written prison story. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm going to go listen to I'm actually going to talk about a May Alder book in these reviews here towards the end. But I'm also going to go read that one. So
I think you will like it.
I probably will. It's May Alder. Okay, well, so this is where my week took a little bit of a turn because I was packing and trying to get ready, and those other 2 audios were so good that I was in a little bit of a slump.
Did you clarify that you weren't packing to go on this trip like your personal wardrobe?
Oh no, I was packing boxes to get the K. Webster boxes at the door before the trip. The packing for the trip took me a half an hour.
Going on a trip and packing. And so I just want the people at home to know that you're not that high maintenance.
No,
because you are wearing
No.
a tiara right now.
It's because I will never wear it again, okay? I mean, I will.
No.
Hopefully I will, but I
Like,
don't know. It
I will
matched my
pack the
gown,
day
though.
before, and Jessica will be like, "Psh, I'm not leaving until tomorrow. I have plenty of time to
I've got
pack."
plenty of
And then
time.
she
Yeah.
complains about how she had to get up really early to pack and things like that. But
I pack the night before. I don't like to get up early to pack, but because I always have to get up early. But no, I packed. I no,
it
but
just was funny. It sounded like you like knocked out 3 audiobooks while you packed for your weekend.
no. I meant packing at the warehouse. I was the only one working this week. Because it was a crazy week, Stacy couldn't come up, so I had to get out the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. So that's what I'm talking about before I could go. Okay, but let's talk about it. So I was kind of in a little bit of a reading slump, but like I don't know, nothing was hitting right. So I just kind of went back to one that I knew was going to be good while I was packing all them boxes. So that's where I picked up Lucky's Choice by Jamie Begley. This is a part of her Last Writers series. This is book number 7 in the Last Writers. You probably should start at book 1 and go all the way through. They're a lot of fun. They really are. So this is about Willa and Lucky. Lucky, we've seen him all throughout the other books. He was the minister who turned out to be a part of the MC, and nobody knew. But now he's really wrestling with the whole, like, he's no longer the minister. He's back in the MC now. He was in the military, and that is where he was a reverend in the military. I can't remember what they call him now because I'm talking about it. But anyhow, chaplain. He was a chaplain in the military. And so he does have that history, but now he's kind of just cutting loose and cutting wild. And then you have Willa, who is our plus size heroine. She's a baker. She's kind of a doormat for everybody. She's sweet and kind, but she is taken advantage of very, very often by everybody. And this is their story and how that works out, because she has a lot of, I don't know, she doesn't think that she gets the hot guy with the abs and the motorcycle, but yet she also wants the preacher too. She wants both. So I love this story. Well, Lucky's got to figure out how to make this work. So
Yes.
yeah, the 2 worlds. Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a reread. I've reread it like 4 or 5 times, guys. Obviously, I love it.
You were rereading this book before we went to this channel.
Yes.
I was just looking.
Yeah.
I like to pull the books to make editing easier. And I'm
Yep.
like, oh.
Yeah,
This
I
has
do.
been a
I
favorite
love
for a while.
There's a reason why I love the Last Writers. I just do. They're comfort reads, which is sad to say, but they are. So, okay.
Well, Jessica, I am ready to do another book video of ranking book covers.
Oh, what you got for me? Oh, I have that one. Okay.
I like this.
He's pretty, isn't he?
I would have bought this book not even knowing what this book was about.
That is a handsome man on that cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jessica talked about this book last week, and so I dropped everything to read it. I loved it, so I ordered it. So here we go. This is about Millie and Alessio. Is that how I say his name?
Yep.
So they have an arranged business marriage, and it's like a merger for hotels. Millie is only 18 when this happens. He's what, 10, 11, 12 years older than her?
I think it was 14.
14 years. Like, he is significantly older than her. He basically is not happy about marrying her, but he's married to his work, basically. But he tells her, like, hey, I'm like, this is just on paper. You're going to go live this great life literally at the farm while I stay in town. I'll be discreet with my mistresses and you just have a good time. And then this goes on for a little bit and he goes to visit, like, I think it's like 7 months later, his wife, and decides he's a little jealous of her relationship with the farmhand, which then makes him decide to bring her back. He takes her on a vacation, and then on this vacation, she starts to really fall for him and then realizes that he hasn't changed his feelings towards the situation at all. And so she decides she's going to live her life for herself. And that's like a snippet of what this book is about. It was really good. So if you like the cheating trope,
Yeah,
this was a 5-star read for me. I think it was a 5-star book for you too.
Yeah,
I do want to say, if you like the cheating trope and the angst, this is really, really good. It is not a situation though where it's like he's upfront about it. Like he says, we're in an arranged marriage. So even if you're like on the fence about the cheating trope, you might really enjoy this book because
It's clear from the beginning.
it's clear from the
Between the two of them.
beginning and they
They
don't,
both agree.
yeah, they know what this is.
Yes.
She just happens to, as the young people would say, catch feelings.
Yes.
So,
wow.
What?
As the young people would say. I say that.
Oh, well, maybe I'm the young person then, and you're copying me.
Oh, is that it?
I don't know.
All right. Well, I know we've talked about this before. So Audible has this thing now when you're in your car and it's in a series and you own the series, it will just click over to the next book. Like when the one book ends, it starts the next book automatically. I was driving to Seattle. It started it automatically after I finished Lucky's Choice. So the 8th book in the Last Riders is Winter's Touch, and I just kept it because I was driving and I couldn't like play with my phone. I get in trouble if I do that, and it's dangerous. Don't do that. So this is Winter and Viper's story. This is their second book, so you do need to read their first book, which is book 2 in the Last Riders, in order to get to this point. But in the first book, Winter is attacked and almost dies by somebody who hurts her, and it fractures her back, and she is in a really bad place. So now we fast forward a few years later. All of the Last Riders have paired off at this point for the most part. People are having babies left, right, and sideways, and all she wants is Viper's baby, but it is detrimental to her health in order, like if she were to have a baby. And Viper is adamant that they will adopt or do surrogacy or something else, but he cannot lose her, and he does not want her to get pregnant. But then read the writing on the wall, something happens and she ends up pregnant unknowingly. And it causes a lot of grief and a lot of strife between them. It causes a lot of angst between the two of them. And I still love this one too, obviously. It's shorter compared to the other ones. So, okay, next.
Okay, next, and I know it seems like I just copied you because I'm reading another book that you talked about last week, but I want to point out, I got the ALC for this, and I don't understand how you were able to get the book before, like,
I don't know.
you had it before I got the ALC, so it's just
It was out,
weird.
Yeah. I do want to say too, I was reading a book this week. We should probably cover this when we talk about audio here. But I was reading a book, listening to a book this week that was an ALC that I got, and then I got a notification that it's been pushed back, and that's an Amazon thing. So I'll talk about it next week. So Amazon's weird about these kinds of things. Some go in early, some go in later. And even BJ Alpha, which we talked about last week, Stone was supposed to come out at the end of February, and Amazon has pushed it, and she doesn't know when it's going to come out now. So she's dealing with all of that. So for those who are looking for that. So Amazon could be a dick when it comes to Audible. That's what we're finding out.
Okay. So I listened to The Madman and His Broken Princess by Cora Riley. It's narrated by Troy Duran and Lucy Rivers, and this is available now. So if you're wanting to, you can grab this one. You do not have to have read In Cora's World to read this. It is very much a standalone. And so we have Amelia, and I wrote down how his name is written, and then that always throws me with pronunciation. So is it like Nestoro?
Nestoro.
Nestoro. Okay, Nestoro. Okay, so Nestora is held captive by Amelia's dad, who decides to overthrow Nestora's what?
I was like Nestor. It might be Nestore. You know what? It's Nessie.
Yeah,
Nessie
overthrows his father's place and then puts him in the basement in like a dungeon basically and tortures him. Amelia sees this and is really disturbed by it. She's barely a teenage girl when this is happening, and so she spends years sneaking him food and visiting with him and reading to him. And they become very much lifelines for each other. When her father discovers this, I think it's like her 15th or 16th birthday when he discovers her down there. And he is a very mean, horrible man, and he throws her down there as well. And they're both then kept down there and tortured for a long time. And then they are freed. He reclaims the place the house, his title in the mafia world, but he has gone batshit crazy. He is a psycho now, and it really freaks Amelia out. So she runs from him, and he is not going to be okay with that.
Enter in
The
my favorite
title is
trope.
very appropriate for these characters. I just realized that I
Yes.
didn't set my timer. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's all good. Yeah, no, I think you're right with that. The title is very appropriate.
Yes. I rated it 4 stars.
Good job on
Did
reading
you
that
say
book.
good job?
Don't ask me why. I am really sleep deprived, okay? After the books last week that Mandy read this week, that, with the cheating in it, I still love that. I mean, we love that. And I remember that in the world with the Silent Flame that Casey Wells wrote, and there were 4 other books. Now, I've heard the other ones are not the best. But I still wanted to go back and listen to Kendra and Gideon's story because they're mentioned quite a bit in her book. And so that is what I did. I went and read Veiled in Silence by Eve Black. And this is the second book in this Dark and Silent Night series. So this one, I will say, is told in third person. It's a little, I could read it. There were times where it kind of drove, I was kind of like, but I just don't love third person. Mandy loathes third person. I'm not that bad. Yeah. So this is about Kendra. Her and Gideon have been married for 3 years. Gideon is this ruthless billionaire businessman, and he basically married Kendra because he needed an heir. Now, Kendra is unaware of this. She thinks they met at this singles thing for business people and that they fell in love, and he's been a very cold husband towards her, but she still loves him. She doesn't know that it was all a farce because he has to have an heir for the business. And so it's 3 years later, she's still not getting pregnant. And, he's getting very frustrated, very fed up. And one day, just before Christmas, she goes to the doctor and finds out that she is pregnant.
Okay.
She thanks. She goes to the doctor and finds out that she is pregnant and goes to order some really cute Christmas things to tell him that she's pregnant. Finally, when he comes home like that day, and he has had something happen at work that has made him really angry, and he basically blows their marriage out of the water and tells her everything, which she has balls, so she leaves him when that happens. And then he has to grovel. I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. Is it Silent Flame? No, but it was worth reading.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, my next book was not worth reading.
Oh,
but again, there's something to be said about the angst that you get from a cheating romance when it's done well. So I do this. If you've been watching our channel for a while, I will read a really good one and then I spiral with a whole bunch of crappy ones. And that's what happened. So I read Mr. Strategic by Gable Jones. It's labeled as a dark cheating romance. I don't feel like it was a dark romance at all. It is cheating. But we have Lavender, who's just kind of this like good doctor's wife, and we have Michael, who's the doctor, and Lavender finds out he's been cheating on her, and he's just like, doesn't matter. It's just sex. Like, it's not a big deal at all. And she's not okay with that. He's apparently been lying to people and telling them that they have an open marriage. So she's like, oh, well, if you're sleeping with this doctor's wife because you have an open marriage, then I can sleep with this guy. And then it just spirals from there. And then he does some like shitty stuff and manipulates her into saving somebody. He will save someone's life if she comes back, like that sort of thing. And I think that's where it's supposed to be a dark romance. I just didn't care for it at all. Like, he's not a hero where I had any sort of like, oh, but he's broken and that's why he's acting like this. There was just he was just an arrogant ass, and there was no redeeming qualities at all for him. And she was just a welcome mat, basically. I rated it 2 stars, and that was probably generous.
All right, well, let's move on from that one. That sucks, though. Okay, well, I had to listen to something while I was setting things up, or I was listening to something while we were setting up booths and stuff, and I needed to go back to something that I could listen to and not really need to listen to the little nuances of the book. So I wanted something that was a comfort read for me. And so I picked up Veronica's Dragon by Ruby Dixon because I love my Ruby Dixon. And so this is book 2 in the Ice Home spinoff from her Ice Planet Barbarians. This is about Veronica and Ashtar. So we have a new group of people that are on the planet now. And some of them are gladiators, and that is where we get Ashtar. He is the golden one. And he immediately sees Veronica, who is the average plain Jane, and he's like, "Yep, that one is mine. What do I have to do to woo that one?" And he doesn't understand the whole cootie thing until he gets his cootie, and then they immediately resonate to each other. Now, Veronica is klutzy and clumsy and just plain. She's just average and has nothing like spectacular, according to her, about herself. But this big golden god is all about her. And then one day she gets hurt, and the big golden god turns into a dragon because he's a shifter. So, and she turns out to be a new healer for the tribe. So,
too far.
Yeah. Why?
You're not going to
so
convince me to read about dragons. Okay.
He's golden. You know what? Don't say never. Because you've given me shit for these books for all these years, and now look at you.
Give me 2 years.
Okay.
I'll be talking about the dragons.
Yeah,
oh my
exactly.
gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, my pen got stuck on me. Okay, so next I read another cheating book because I was still searching for that.
Yeah.
And this one I actually did not get very far in, and I DNF'd it, and I was mad about it. Then I decided maybe I overreacted. So I went back and tried to read some more, and I ended up finishing it, but I rated it 2 stars. So I was right and justified in my DNF.
Leave it. Yes.
Okay, so this is called Love, Hate, and Us by S.P. West, and this is about Brooke and Brody. They were together through high school. They live together. They own a home together. They are supposed to be getting married, and he has just upped and gone missing. Like, she has no idea what's happened to him. So she's tried calling his friends, his brother. Like, the book starts with her like on the phone with like a hospital because he's like gone and there's no explanation for what's happened to him. So she's been calling the police, like everything, like she's in a mass panic. Finally, his brother calls her and tells her like, "Hey, he told me not to tell you, but that's not fair to you. He's at the cabin and he's been there for a while." So it turns out he's just decided, this is when I DNF'd, he's just decided he doesn't want to be with her anymore, but wasn't quite sure how to tell her that. So wanted to go think about it for a while to figure out how to basically tell her, we've been together, we were each other's first, we've been together, and I don't know what it's like to sleep with other people.
I can see why you DNF'd it.
So I DNF'd it. Then I thought, well, maybe I overreacted. So I tried
Nope, trust your gut.
And then like what ends up happening is they break up, but like she can't afford to buy him out. He can buy her out, but she doesn't want to leave the house, and she's like devastated that their relationship's over. So they are living together, and he promises not to bring anyone home, but then he does.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is just dumb. Like, this is not like, I don't know what makes other cheating books better, but the fact that he just wanted to know what it was like to sleep with other people and like, I couldn't handle it.
No, I don't blame you. I would have DNF'd it too.
Yeah. 2 stars, 2 very generous stars.
Okay.
Next.
All right. Well, another audiobook that came out last week. Sorry, guys, it was a busy week where I couldn't do a lot of physical reading, but I mean, there were a couple in here. But this book is it's Queen by K.A. Riley, which is the 3rd book in her Thrall series. I've read the first 2. You have to read them in order because it is a trilogy, and then the last 2 books I think are other people in this world. But this is a dystopian world. This is also a Cinderella retelling, and so you have our heroine. I'll just give you the synopsis of all 3 books, but you have our heroine who is Shara. She is can't what they call them, but basically you have 2 classes of people in this world. You have people who are called normals, and it is people like you and I who don't have any extra powers, and then you have the people who are born that have these extra powers, like the power of healing or telepathy or those kinds of things. And so Shara is one of those. Now, when they are born, they are immediately put into the tower, these children that are born special, and they are trained to serve the elite of the nation. When they're a certain age, they go out and serve the elite. And so Shara can heal. She is a healer. And when she is, I think she's like 21, when she gets sent to this house where this woman is at, and there is a guy there, Thorn, and he is the head guard. And so there is some intrigue with the prince wants her as his wife, but she and Thorn have a connection, and they're not supposed to touch or have sex or anything. Yeah, I heard that one. I heard that one. And this just kind of goes into like, it's basically kind of like an uprisal kind of thing, right? Like they want to destroy this regime that is keeping them locked down and telling them that they're not, that they can't be normal. Like if they have babies, their babies are taken from them and put in the tower. Like they're never supposed to touch each other, or they're never supposed to have sex. And so this was the third book in it. It was the last book. I remember I did call Mandy, and it was a half an hour out from the end of this book, and I was a little bit devastated. And I was like, "How the hell is this going to end in a happily ever after?" But it does end in a happily ever after. It did rectify itself there at the end, so I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. So the whole trilogy was amazing, and they're all on audio now.
Well, my next read is one that I did for convincing, so you can check that out later this week in our next convincing video if you want to hear all about that. So I'm not going to talk about that one. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to my next one, which is Barbarian's Taming by Ruby Dixon. So this is number 8 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. If you're new here, I am working through the whole series before we go to Holidays with the Bells, where we will meet Ruby Dixon. And I now like aliens. Okay, so we have Maddie and Hassan.
Yeah,
Hassan. Okay. And so Maddie, basically, she's Lila's sister. I would recommend reading the one before this, before it, like, I know they're supposed to be like just interconnected, but I think that if you read Lila's story, Maddie makes a lot more sense. Otherwise, Maddie kind of comes off a little whiny if you don't understand what's happened. So Lila was kidnapped in the first book by Hassan. It's really hard to say his name, Hassan. And Lila can't hear without her cochlear implants, and she doesn't have them on the planet. And so Maddie's used to taking care of Lila, and Lila kind of depending on her, and Lila is happy, doesn't need her, and has her own alien. And so Maddie's just really feeling lonely on this planet, that she's not happy being here, and her sister doesn't really need her, and she just feels lonely and left out. Hassan has been banished basically from the tribe because of his kidnapping. His kidnapping was done, though, with the hopes that she would resonate with him. It wasn't done maliciously. He's lonely too. So they're basically 2 outcasts that find each other. And I really enjoyed their story. I loved it. I rated it 4 stars. Okay. I felt bad for both of them and was happy that they found love. Again, Ruby Dixon throws in some humor in this one as well.
Always. Yeah. Okay. Well, my last book, as I mentioned, was a May Alder book. And so I read The Guardian's Angel, and this is an age gap lactation cake type book. And so this is about Shyla and James. So James has custody. He is the guardian of his nephew. His sister had a baby boy. The baby is 3 months old. His sister had a heart condition, and she has since passed away. And so now he has full custody of the baby. The baby, he doesn't know what the heck he's doing. He's only had a baby for a short time. Baby cries all the time. And so he depends on his neighbor who's across the street, who has a lot of kids, and he sees a lot of kids coming in and out of their house. She also has a newborn. And so one night he calls because baby will not stop crying, and he's like begging for help. And the neighbor sends over her daughter. Now he has seen her daughter. This is Shayla. He is attracted to her, but he knows nothing about her. She comes over, baby's crying. She's holding the baby. Baby starts rooting around. So she pops a tit out and starts feeding the baby, because she is a mom as well. And she has an 8 or 7 month old baby at her house, and a little girl. Come to find out, she is still in high school. She had a teen pregnancy. She is a senior. She's almost 18. So he hires her on to be his babysitter for him. Yes. But then it leads to other things once she turns 18 and something traumatic happens for him. They both love each other's kids, and I just loved it. Like, I'm like, do I give it 5 stars? I don't know. I loved it. We're going to call it 4.5 right now, because I just really enjoyed it. And those babies are not the only things that she breastfeeds. Okay.
And then I continued on in my desperation to find an angsty cheating book. Okay. So I read Love You More by Sabrina Lynn, or Love You More Tomorrow by Sabrina Lynn. So this is about Melanie. Melanie's grandma has passed away. She flies to North Dakota for the funeral. She gets this weird feeling and feels like she needs to go home early. So she gets an earlier flight home, comes home and finds her husband, who was too busy with an important client to come with her, even though this was like a woman that was like a grandma to him as well, because they've been married for some time. And so she comes home and finds her husband in the hot tub with his boss's secretary. And it was not like they weren't just, having a cocktail, or maybe they were without the tail.
Got it.
Yeah, that's what she comes in on. So she's basically like, okay, we're done. Like, get your stuff and go. He's like desperate to keep her. But he can't keep it in his pants, even though he wants to fix this relationship and is like begging for her to come back. She then finds out she's actually pregnant, which throws a whole nother wrench into this story. And her brother's best friend, who's also his business partner that she's known forever, works in security. So he's helping her get all the documentation that she needs to go after her husband. And so this book was an intriguing, wild mess. I found out the author had published, I believe, on Wattpad, and this is like her first I think it's her first book. I think that this is, a lot of authors get their starts there. And we have interviewed quite a few authors who will tell us that they put their first book that they wrote on Amazon up. People read it and then they continued writing, and then they go back and take down their first book because it was horrible in their minds and they don't want it out there anymore. I'm not saying that this is a horrible book she should take down. I'm saying I think that this is an author that we should keep an eye on, because I think as she gets like an editor and somebody who kind of helps her with the developmental pieces of how her story flows, maybe some beta readers, that sort of thing, and gets that feedback.
Developmental editor.
Really got, like, she's got some good stuff going on in her writing. There was some editing and some formatting that kind of threw me a little bit, but I kept going back to this book and wanting to know like what crazy shit's about to happen now. So again, I think this is an author that we just need to keep an eye on, because I think she's going to have some really great stuff once she gets a little bit those things worked out. I rated it 3 stars because I really liked it, but there was just too much other stuff that I felt needed to be worked out. Does any of that make sense that I said?
Totally.
Yeah. So if you're interested in a wild ride cheating story, check it out, because it was quite crazy.
Okay.
I enjoyed it though. Maybe I should have rated it 4 stars. I don't know. I feel comfortable with my 3 though, because 3 is I liked it. I did like it.
Yeah.
It's a wild ride. Okay, there were just a few times where I was like, really? Okay, ready for my next one?
Yeah.
Okay, my next one is, remember that really pretty book I got?
Yep.
My
The
blind
third book.
date book. So I read the first 2, which they're a duet. The third book I decided to read. It is their daughter's story. So this is Callie's story. She works in like PR, which that's been happening a lot in my books lately. My characters need to get some different jobs, I think. But anyways, Sloan was a Formula, like a race car driver, Formula like F1, I think. And he had a bad accident. He's kind of spiraling, and she's going to take him on as a client. So she gets sent there. She has to like leave her boyfriend slash fiance, who she decides she kind of wants to break up with. She goes there, meets him, and it's their story basically. I got stuck. Okay, so my family races. My husband comes from a line of family members who race. My niece races, her husband races. Like we are a family of racers. My own son races. Nobody's driving in like NASCAR, but they compete. They travel like all over to race. Okay, so I know quite a bit about racing. I really got hung up with some of the things that happened in here, because it talks about how his doctor said that he wouldn't clear him for racing. But there was no reason as to why the doctor wouldn't clear him from racing. He seems perfectly fine. There's nothing that came up about, like, no explanation, like that he struggles when he's walking, that he can't drive an actual car, like nothing other than that the doctor just wouldn't clear him comes up, and then eventually almost and then that just bugged me really the entire freaking book. I couldn't get over it. And somebody who's not familiar with racing may be able to read this and really enjoy it, but that just so took me out of the story. And then when we get towards the end, we finally find out why. And I like asked my husband, because sometimes I feel like everybody has different experiences. So maybe this author knows somebody and this was their story. So I asked my husband, I'm like, would this make sense? And he really didn't feel like that made sense. Perhaps the doctor would make a recommendation, but it would really be more up to the team unless he had like, do you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't make sense and it drove me freaking crazy. I couldn't handle it. And I really didn't care for Callie either. She was kind of annoying in my opinion. So I ended up not really caring for it. I rated it 3 stars, but damn it, this book is really pretty to look at.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I finished my week then by reading Aftershocks by Ruby Dixon.
Hey.
Which is 8.5 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. You do need to read this one in the order. And it's exactly what it says. It's the aftershocks of the earthquake. And it's part of the Slice of Life series. And I just really like that title because it's literally like a little slice of their life after the earthquake. So I don't really have a lot to report on that. If you're not reading this series, then you're not going to want to go pick that up. If you're reading the series, when you get there, make sure you include the slices of life where they go in that order, because they really do kind of add to the whole story experience. I rated it 4 stars. All right, so we need to get to our next giveaway, but before we can tell you about our next giveaway, we need to announce the winner from our coveted cover giveaway. So Jessica, the ball is in your court. I mean, Queen Jessica, the ball is in your court.
Thank you. I actually went to the ball last night, stayed for a whole hour. My feet were killing me. I was barefoot. It was horrible. Anyhow, in here I have a box with all the names. This was kind of handy because I didn't have anything, like I was going to do the wheel, but like I didn't have time to do the wheel. So I put everybody, I still took the time to do everybody's names, but they're in here. So we had this from our event. So it's kind of handy that we had this one. So,
well, I think it's a good thing we didn't do the wheel,
because it would have been forever. Like it would have been a lot of people's names.
Yes.
Okay. Well, are we ready to?
With you where you're like, we wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, the glitching. Yeah, because we just lost it and had to come back. Yep. Okay.
Yes.
So let's see. I got a winner. I mean, I got a winner. We're excited.
Yes. So again, we apologize if it looks like we edit, like if there's anything wonky in our video, but
yeah, it's just because the internet keeps dropping me.
Yes.
So, okay.
All right.
So this is for the winner of the Frozen Fate trilogy.
Do I do a drum roll?
Yes, because I have to say this name, and so our winner is Shabnam Aurora. Ooh. So yeah, can you see that? I even had to cut this paper without scissors. Fun times.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Yes.
Make sure you message us here at Bestie Book Reviews. You can message us at bestiebookreviews@gmail.com, or you can send us a DM if you're on Instagram over there, or message Coveted Cover as well, and just let them know. And Jessica and Stacy will know to watch for that.
Yes, and we'll get that out to you when they get here in May. As long as the printers cooperate, it will be here.
Yes, but we would like you to message us now so you get
message us now. So I can put you on my list. I have a list of things for Pam's books, so I can put you on that list and make sure that gets out to you when the books arrive and are ready for shipping. So yay, congratulations. That is awesome. There's a lot of jealous people out there right now. So
yes, there are going to be. But we have lots of giveaways coming, like we talked about in 2026. We are doing the 26 book giveaway. So we have teamed up with another favorite author of ours, and that is Serena Pier. So I just talked about Shamrock Kisses. So Jessica, entertain them really quickly while I prepare.
Why can't you just let me be the one to crown today?
Okay.
Just in time for St. Patrick's Day.
I did an unboxing from the PR box of the Shamrock Kisses. You may have seen that short. that it was a combined one for Jessica and I. So in the box, there's like lots of little goodies. You'll
Wait,
get,
does
I
that
believe,
mean, do I have I can't see the bow because the recordings are here. Do I get a bow too? Will we be wearing that when we're down in Texas?
so I set aside for you this one.
Ooh, fun. Okay.
Yes, and then you will also have like the necklace, there's bracelets. So your specific whoever, so we've teamed up with her to do a PR box giveaway of Shamrock Kisses. So you'll get the book and a few fun St. Patrick's Day Shamrock goodies. There's like a sticker of the couple, there's some tattoos, there's bracelet, and oh, there's my glasses. And then some fun glasses. So lots of fun stuff. Your items may vary. Just throwing that out there.
Mhm.
All you have to do to be entered to win this is subscribe to us here on Bestie Book Reviews and go follow Serena Pierre over on Instagram. And we have a Google form so we can announce the winner from there. And even if you're not interested in winning the PR box, go follow Serena. You're going to love her books. She has a lot of fun ones. And this is a great one to pick up for St. Patrick's Day. And then there's a really good one that I loved for Easter as well.
Mhm.
And then, like Jessica mentioned, she has the 4th of July one to still read, which was also good. And then there is a Halloween one. I did confirm that.
Okay, cool.
When you were glitching.
All right. Well, I just saw a little bit of a glitch happen again. Not that it messed with our video. I just, things on my end look a little funky. So let's wrap this up before it happens again.
Hit that subscribe button for us. Go follow Serena Pierre and always check back with us because we are going to have so many fun giveaways. We are so excited. And this one, we will announce the winner in our next 1 Minute Book Rec. So definitely check back for that. And thank you so much for being here. Nope, that's Jessica's line. I do this every time. Check back Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and almost every Wednesday for new videos from us. Queen Jessica.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in the next video.